said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. Splendor and majesty are before him. Strength and glory are in his sanctuary. That could be, I don't know about you, but I missed being here. We all did. Being here and able to worship together and to fellowship together and find and share that strength that we find. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord in splendor of his holiness. That's okay. Let's just sing it now. We have come, and go ahead and stand with me. Oh, there it is. Here, we're going to say this together. Now that we found it, and you're all standing now, I want you to say this with me. I rejoice with those who said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. Splendor and majesty before him. Strength and glory are in his sanctuary. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord in splendor of his holiness. Let's sing together now. We have come into this house for the first time in a long time to worship him. We have come into his house and gathered in his name to worship him. We have come into his house and gathered in his name to worship him. We have come into his house and gathered in his name to worship Christ the Lord. Worship him, Christ the Lord. Thank you. Maybe sing it. Will's already up here and ready to go. By the way, we want to say, I try not to forget this. Today, there's, how many things here? I haven't counted. 30 or 40, which means there's a lot that's going to be watching through that telephone today. We just want you to know you're missed here today. We look forward to the day that we'll all be back together. We as elders are just glad to see somebody else in this sanctuary instead of just us on videos. Thank you.
All right, welcome to the House of the Lord. We want to welcome all you that showed up today. We also want to welcome those who are watching this online, as Jimmy said. We've got a lot of announcements this week. Prayers for Marge Thompson, Trina's mom. Still a lot going on there, so her prayers for her will be greatly appreciated. Also, Kylie Turner, she's home and doing better. Still needing prayers. And I've got an announcement here, or a message from her. It says, although I was super excited to go back to church tomorrow, I will be watching on my phone. I wanted to personally ask you to tell everyone that I'm so thankful for all the prayers. I'm doing so much better, still needing some prayers, but I'm glad to still be here. What a mighty God we serve. Again, that's from Kylie Turner, so continue to keep her in your prayers. Joe Potter's sister, Linda Racer. This is Brett Racer's mom. For those of you who know Brett, she's still needing prayers. And Joe Garrison, he was taken to the hospital because he was having trouble breathing. I believe this was on Wednesday. So if anybody's got an update on Joe, feel free to share. If you'll let me know if there's any announcements that you have, we'll repeat them up here so they get on recording.
I have an announcement.
Go ahead.
Barbara Yeoman is doing a lot worse, and they expect she will die within a few days.
Okay. Barbara Yeoman?
Barbara Yeoman,
Okay.
yeah. She lives, what's the name of the word? She lives along the Banner Road.
Okay. For those of you who know Barbara Yeoman, reach out to her family, tell them to think about them, and we'll continue to pray for her. Thank you. We have a lot coming up next week. Richard Cravens will bring the message. We'll have board meeting. It will be moved to the 10th. We won't have it today after service. So that'll be moved to the 10th. And the CWF scholarship is due May 10th also for those seniors that are going to be going through graduation. Hopefully they get to do their ceremonies and things like that. Keep the seniors in prayer. We closed on the new property, the house right over here. So we have a new cartridge for the incoming preacher. only settle on. So, with that being said, are there any new joys or concerns or prayer requests from the congregation?
I just want to say thanks to the church for buying that house from us. It's a blessing in disguise. And we look forward to hopefully being able to turn this bus barn into like a youth rec center. So we're going to talk about that at the next board meeting. And donations, if that's approved, would be appreciated.
Okay, so, the house sold, like we said, so blessings were received off of that. There's plans on turning the bus barn out here into a rec center for children. So if you want to be a part of that, bid the board meeting next Sunday, the 10th. So, with that being said, will you go to the Lord with me in prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and the opportunity to come into your house. And we ask that you be with those that are here, with those that are sharing this online. And may your word come to us today and touch the hearts and souls of those listening, that they find peace and comfort in you in this time. Dear Lord, we ask that you be with those that are making decisions, that they have you at the core of their decision making, and they do what's right for this country and for the leaders and the people that are having so much trouble and uncertainties. Dear Lord, we ask that you use each and every one of us and use our gifts and not allow us to dwell on our faults. But you use us for where you see fit. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Now hear us, Lord, as we join our hearts and voices together as we say your Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
It's been a long time since we stood and clapped our hands in the sanctuary, in the Lord's sanctuary. So I want to ask you to stand again. This is our praise chorus. We're going to sing, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it, and let there be praise." This is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made. Okay, we're going to do that again, but this time when we do it, I'm going to ask you to do something like I kind of do a lot of times. How many here can truly say that you have missed being in God's house? How many of you really are ready to rejoice in the fact that God is still alive and very much in control? That's kind of what my message is about. You know, you've heard me say many times, I don't preach a message, I share my heart. And I'm going to share today kind of what God has laid on my heart. But this time when we sing, we will rejoice. I don't want you to sing when you get to rejoice. We will rejoice. A little more enthusiasm there. We can do it even though there's 40 of us here. If you're looking silly, this is the way Ben says it. That the Lord has made, we will rejoice. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let there be praise. We're doing things just a little out of order today. Offering meditation, I don't have one. But today, the plates, it's just a little information for you. The plates are sitting at the back. This may become a little more of a norm for a while as the days go through, as we go through this season. And again, there's none of us that kind of like this stuff, putting up signs in certain pews that tell people they can't sit there. We didn't go as far. I think a lot of us brought our new attire that we hear about, our mask and our gloves that could have been a lot more strict about. We didn't go there. But with that being said, this through the last 5-6 weeks, I don't know about you, but I love the Lord's Prayer, but I missed hearing the kids say that. The elders, we've talked about it. That may be somewhere that we start to incorporate our little ones and letting them do that. And what a great learning experience for them. Plus, they hear just the sweet little voices of those little ones saying the Lord's Prayer. So there's some things that we have learned through this time that we're going to try to incorporate in what we do. And there are going to be some changes. Today, as we close, we're singing the song, Send the Light. And I don't know, it just may be easier because some of us, I'm not telling you what to do, just want to hug everybody. But it's still kind of asked of us not to do that. So today we're going to try to honor that in our leaders and our government as far as what they're telling us what we can do and can't do. I asked the elders the other night if I could please share something that has been on my heart about where we're at and what we've been going through. Again, none of us had any idea that it would be the last time for us to meet here in this sanctuary, nor did we know how, in the days to come, how we would basically be connected, be disconnected from the world. The school's closing, businesses closing, restaurants closed to carry out only, oil field crashing, and we were told basically to stay home. That's not easy at all for this guy, and I don't think it's easy for a lot of us. But today I just want to talk a little bit, we're not going to be a long time, a little bit about what I've experienced, because I want to share with you, we did as a church, one way that we were able to still shed the light, share the light, was for a meal at the Mercy House. They're still serving 300 people every evening, and we as a church was able to go help participate with that. But Jeremiah has called me a couple of times within the last week, and has experienced some things that it was very dark to him. And then I received a call yesterday. But then I get to thinking about it. I said, Jeremiah, you think about it. We were told that we couldn't even go to church. All across this country, the lights were not turned on inside the church buildings for maybe just for like us coming as elders to do little videos and stuff for church to happen later. We know that God didn't leave. But for us not to come and to be able to rejoice and feel that strength and feed off of that strength for each other, in my mind, why wouldn't it make a heyday for Satan? And that's kind of my message today is, man, we as a church need to hit the ground running. So today, as I talk about a few things, there's a post that I posted on Facebook, and I found it, I don't know who it was, where exactly it came from. But something through this time, I want to go ahead and say this. I don't know about you, we didn't know who to believe or what to believe. We heard numbers, and then of course they tell you, well, those numbers didn't tab everybody, or they included this, and man, I found myself, who am I supposed to believe? Lord, help us during this time. And I don't mind telling you, there was a time or two, it got a little frightening when they were talking about what could happen and what would happen. We've all probably had both sides of that spectrum of who you were talking to. If you had somebody in the medical field like I've got, a lovely daughter who's a nurse, and that's one reason, and Beth, I'm sorry, she probably knew since she wouldn't be here today, that I'd probably bring something up like this, but I've been living, we're blessed to have an extra house. So I've been batching for a good 4 weeks. And Summer was asked, if we got to that point, as we all heard, if you listen to the noise, to the news, a lot of the same thing there. what would happen at the hospitals. And Summer, again, is an incredible young lady, an incredible nurse, and she was asked if she would be one of the nurses on the floor, or if it come down to life and death situations, would she be willing to be one of those nurses? So as she was saying, I needed to be distancing myself from Mom because we were essential business. I was still going out, and Beth did have the cancer a little over a year ago. I called Summer when I heard that. I was so proud of her and said, okay, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you end up in a floor full of those sick people, those grandkids of mine need to come stay with Grammy in the safe house. Okay, Dad, yes, I thought about that. And we all thank God and praise God that nothing has got that bad. I mean, there's still people dying and losing from this. But again, we had no idea what to expect. And then finally we're here. Some things are looking like we may start to get to go back to the kind of normal. But one morning I got up and couldn't go to work, so I took my phone, and the first thing I looked at was something on Facebook. And something I've experienced through all of this, being disconnected from the world as we were told to do, and basically have been. I've experienced a reconnecting with my Lord. I don't know about you guys, but I have spent so much more time in prayer. So much more time trying to figure out how. How can I serve when we can't go visit anybody? We're not seeing anybody at the restaurants. We're not seeing anybody at work. We can't even make a hospital call. How are we supposed to minister? So, man, I just constantly was thinking, how can we do this? Loretta, bless her heart, how many of you love the post whenever you just see Loretta and Dennis saying, we're here, anybody need anything? It meant so much. It meant so much to see those kind of posts. But again, there was a post that come up. And I want to go through the first three. And then John's going to come, and it has to do with our communion. And again, as we take communion today, Robin, bless her heart, I've got to say this. You all know this. You talk about a godsend happening before all this hit, when we as a church was led to hire Robin as our secretary. And what all she has helped us elders through. Because who knows what you'd been seeing if we didn't have Robin in the position where she was at when we got together to do our little videos. But she made them so neat. And with that being said, we're going to sing a song here when I get done with this and before John comes. We're going to sing a song. It's on a video. It's got the words with it. The guy's singing with it. I'm going to go ahead and sing along with it. But there was a lot of remarks and good statements made about the music. I don't know, it was very special when you're sitting there in your kitchen or living room, wherever you was, and some of those songs spoke volumes. Not that the old hymns don't do the same thing, but those contemporary songs are pretty good, and I would love to see us incorporate maybe one a week, but we all going to learn them together. We have the music for this one, and Loretta, Liz, and Beth can all start working. We'll try to do our part in learning some of those. Today we're just going to sing this one. It's called Glorious Day, and I hope this has been one of the most glorious days for all of us. Just to be able to come in this sanctuary and see everybody, regardless of what all the message is about. But some of those things, this post starts like this. And see if you are not this person. For weeks I've heard people saying, I just can't wait for things to get back to normal. Anybody say that in the last 5-6 weeks? Yep, we all have, sometime or another. I remember even saying it a few times myself. But as I've thought about the current situation, I've realized how much I don't want things to go back to the way they were. And here are a few of my thoughts. And again, I can't take credit for this. I don't know who did it, but it was great. And it's a prayer. The first prayer is, I pray that the next time a friend grabs me and pulls me in for a hug, I actually take the time to appreciate the gift of their embrace. You know, 6 weeks ago, we were coming into this church. You knew you were going to get hugged, hopefully one time after another. It's just who we are, and that contact, and that having that connection with somebody. I would like to even take it a little further at that embrace. So many times, I think it's a later point, so I'll just say that, but I just hope that from now on, it's going to mean a whole lot more when you're able to shake that hand. It's just, man, this just being able to turn one down or say, don't hug me. You know, Scott's not here this morning, Scott Henry, but I have to tell you this, the little idea that we had. Because there are those, and we all need to be sensitive to the ones that are still very fearful of this. There's a reason for that. We talked about it at the very beginning. There's a reason why God put something called a brain in between these two ears for us to be smart about things like this. None of us knew exactly what was happening or what was going to happen in the days to come. But for us to get together and not shake hands and not hug, it's just not who we are. So it speaks volumes to us. So hopefully next time, when we get to the point, when we return, one thing that won't return is that we just taking a hug or a handshake for granted, but we embrace the fact and take the time to appreciate the gift of that embrace when somebody gives it to us. I pray that when school resumes and you are dropping your kids off, you take the time to thank the staff for their amazing gift that they give to your family. Some of you that have kids, I'll bet you amen that. Being teachers at home and taking those kids and having to do whatever to keep them busy. We were talking about it earlier, the Lowe's parking lot. Man, the crafts and the remodeling and everything people was doing just to try to give their kids something to do. But I do hope, and me having a wife of that, I know I saw it affect Beth, how not being able to see her students. I remember the first day walking in the house when I was still alive in the house. And I heard Beth say something, and she was talking to a computer screen with kids on there. But there was something about her voice that was so much better than what it had been for a while until she was able to get this, they got this established to where she could see her students and truly be in contact with them again. I pray that the next time I'm sitting in a crowded restaurant, I take the time to look around at the smiling faces, and we've all been guilty of talking about the people with the loud voices, but you're thankful to hear those loud voices, and thank God for the gift of community. I have, not only have I missed my church family, but how many of you missed your community? Although I'm kind of along with Will. We were talking the other night, how much money we probably save not eating out. Maybe the tithing will be a little better today, Nathan. We have more money since we haven't eaten out for the last 4 or 5 weeks. But I pray that the next time when you enter a restaurant, that you don't just walk past that one table that you used to maybe, because maybe there's something about that individual, that person that you didn't care about. But I hope after this time, this season that we've gone through, that somehow God has showed you the love and the compassion that we were taken for granted to be able to share, and you take the time to put a hand out to that person or to visit with them and let them know that there's a God who loves them and that you care about them. I learned so much during this season of what I missed and how we need to be reaching out to those around us. Jeremiah, bless his heart, again up there, is just trying to pour out his heart to the needs, not only for the homeless, but just for those that need to eat in the days to come. But he agreed with me, man, this being disconnected from the world has truly helped me take a look and see how I can do and what I can do to reconnect myself to the Lord and how to serve him. Something else I saw with Beth that touched my heart, and it's, again, I'll hear all about this. Something that I've noticed and I've loved is her getting up and taking the time, having the time. It's not that she ever did. My wife, trust me, she knows the Lord and loves him dearly. But she is so busy with her classes and with school, she doesn't get the time that I've seen her take. She's gone out on our patio. I think she's got all the Orioles and the Cardinals all named. She's sending me pictures of the beauty of God's creation around. Anybody else found yourself just simply sitting back and thinking, man, I hope that's one thing it doesn't go back to normal, although we know school's going to start up again. You're going to know you're not going to have your kids with you. But I hope you've reconnected with what has always been around us. But we all found ourselves so wrapped up in this busy, busy place we call life. And go, go, go. But I hope in the days to come, and as things come back and open up, that we're able to take just a small portion of what we've learned the last 5 or 6 weeks and let it stick there, of taking time to truly notice God's creation around, even if it's your family. So that's just the first 3. But John's got one. I know how many have missed this communion. There's a video that Robin has just blown us away with things to do. Today there's a cup that you all have. There's a way to open it. Robin did a video for us. You know, let's just go ahead and watch that. Jack, we'll watch that now, and then we're going to sing the song. And here's your schooling. You pull the top of the plastic piece, the very, very top. That's how you get to the wafer. Just like that. And then you'll go ahead and eat the bread. We'll do this all together here in a little bit. And then be real careful. That's the reason Nathan is taking all the paper towels around. We're all going to check Sandy out later because she's got white pants on. See if there's a purple spot right here. No pressure there, Sandy. I have to tell you, the first night we had these, I had them out in my pickup. The older you are, the harder they are to open. And I had some in my pickup. Who was it? John and Max both spilled theirs trying to open them. So it may be a little difficult. But what we can be thankful for is we're back in God's house and we're able to take communion together. But this is the safest way for us to do it. We've got enough to do this several weeks, and we may just continue to do it this way. And again, I had the offering meditation. The offering plates will be back there. There's a lot of churches that never pass the offering plate. It may become a new norm, but there's no reason. It's at the back door. There's one up here, so on your way out, you just place your offering in there. And any way that we can be smart in the days to come, we all want to protect one another. None of us want to spread something to somebody else that's going to be detrimental, maybe even to the point of life, but just sickness. We care for one another more than that. So we're going to do things a little different and try to make it as sanitary and germ-free, and let's just spread the love and not the germ. But anyway, you've seen the little video there. Let's sing now the song "Glorious Day." We'll just all sing it together. Nope. Turn it on.
Morning when heaven was filled with His praises, morning when sin was as white as me, Jesus came forth to be born, Lord of the Virgin, dwelt among men, my example is He. Word became flesh. saved. Every he carried, my sins far away. Rising he justified, freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day, glorious
John, we just kind of took care of not being able to hear during Easter all in that song. That's the whole story.
Kind of discouraging to stand up here and open this on my own. Had a little trouble with it when Max and I were trying to do it last week. Didn't work out very good. What have you heard most about the last 6 weeks? Getting sick, dying, and money. Are you about tired of hearing about that? In Hebrews chapter 13, the 5th verse, said, "Be content with what you have, for he himself said, I will never leave you or forsake you." I think those are pretty powerful words. If we look back at what we've done the last 6 weeks, have we put our faith in God and what he has promised us that he will do for us? You know, the COVID-19 is not God's way of doing things. He uses things in our lives, like the virus, to change our lives. What we're going through is the result of human ways of doing things. God's kingdom is one of mercy, love, and compassion. And his kingdom people, who we are, should be asking how we can help. We should not need an outbreak of COVID-19 to say, Lord, here I am. We, the church, must show what the kingdom of God is like. This is the way of the cross. The cross where Jesus showed his love for us by shedding his blood and giving his body for our sins. At this time of confinement brought you closer to God and his Son, I want to say how important it is for guys like me to see an audience in front of me. You know how hard it is to get up and say stuff to a camera? It's very important to see your smiling faces. And I'm glad that this church has come back together and that we are meeting. And God, we have a promise from God that he wants to take care of us. We'll read from 1 Corinthians chapter 11. The Lord Jesus, on the night he was betrayed, took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and said, "This is my body, which is for you. Do this in remembrance of me." He then, in the same way, after supper, he took the cup, saying, "This cup is the new covenant of my blood. Do this whenever you drink it in remembrance of me. For whenever you eat this bread and drink this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes again." Lord, we thank you for all you do for us. We thank you that we were promised that you'll never leave us or forsake us. Thank you for the souls that are here today. We ask that you will help us in our lives to live our lives like you would want us to. We thank you that you sent your Son to die on the cross for our sins and that he lives today with you.
was a little different, but it was good. Except for the wafer. Okay, we're back to those that we just let it dissolve. Don't even try to chew it. I think it'll choke you to death. 3 more points. Many of you have served here a lot longer than I have. But I just have to say how much I love the church where I serve. You know, yesterday I did get the call from Robert Yeoman. He was talking about Barbara, and we all do need to lift Robert, Byron, Linda up. But the last visit Robert got to have with Barbara, he said, was the last thing that she was able to tell him was, I miss my little white church over there. But even more, I miss the people. So again, may we all be reminded. I know Steve sent me a text this morning on a truck sitting in front of Terrell Prince's of the Mercy House, and it's got comics on the side of it that all have to pertain to Christ, and it's a truck. But on the back of that truck again, everything he's got there, the church has left the building. But again, there's some things that I pray for myself, and I've been doing a lot of that because I found myself in some situations through this that I never expected I would find myself in through the darkness to help some others. But I just want to share, number 5 is this. Number 4 was, as we just had communion. I pray that the next time I'm standing in church listening to the voices of praise and taking communion, that I take a moment to thank God for the gift of the congregation. That's every single one of us sitting in here. How many times do we do that? Now it's going to mean a whole lot more when I sit over here. Not that I always thought about it. Monty over here in the East Side Christian parking lot over in this side of the pews. But as a whole, as we come back to church, may each one of us be thankful for the congregation. Number 5, another prayer is this. I pray that the next time I see a person or a situation that needs prayer, I hope I pray as passionately and fervently as I have these past few weeks. John touched on that also. And you know, there's some people that I have friends with, and I want to become more like them. Because how many times have all of us, myself is terribly guilty of this, and after I walk away, I find myself and ask myself, and it's not, some of you would think it's very scary, but the first time you do it, you are able, it's called stepping out on faith. When somebody says, would you pray for me? Yes, I'll do that. I'll make sure I put you on my prayer list. How do you know they're not saying, will you pray for me right now? And may we all, after this season, again, God has touched my heart in a mighty way. Find a way that when somebody comes to you, God has put them in your presence. And when they say, would you pray for me about something? I don't care where you're at. Why don't we say, sure I will. Let's bow our heads right here and pray right now. Lord, help me to have the strength to do that. Because something tells me we're going to need to be the church far more than what we have even needed to be the last 6 weeks. I have so many friends and family, and you guys all do too, that are without a job. And as bleak as it may look, they need to know that there's a church and there's a God that will pray for them and lift them up, and a friend and a family member that when they ask you to pray for them, you'll do it right now. And you'll do it in the days to come. Number 6, I pray that when I'm at the grocery store that I take a moment to thank God that He provides us with the necessities of life, toilet paper included, and the amazing people who work so hard to keep us supplied. You know, it's really scary now. They're talking about our food chain to break down. We thought we were in trouble when we went to the grocery store and didn't see toilet paper on the toilet paper aisle. We need to pray seriously about that doesn't happen with as many people as we've got that are without work, that doesn't happen. But again, I see a way that this church is going to have to step up mightily in the days to come. And number 7, I pray that I never again take for granted the ability to hop in the car and visit a friend, go to the mall, take my kids to a movie, go to church. That list could go on and on. We were taking so much for granted. I was. before all this happened. So the truth is, I don't want things to return the way they once were. I pray that we take the lessons and the challenges of the past few weeks and create a new normal. My goal is to pray more, to love harder, and truly appreciate the daily abundance of blessings that were so easily overlooked just a mere few weeks ago. If someone tells you they love you, take it to heart. You know, there's 3 different passages of Scripture. Max reminded us so many times of Psalms 91. And now I just want to go back to a couple of different instances that's happened in the last couple of weeks. Jeremiah again telling me about some dark side of things. And I don't even want to go into that because they're not good. But I've been reminded that there's a dark side. And we have been called to be the light. And we have the Lord's promise in so many ways that He will give us scriptures and is with us. One is 2 Samuel 22. This passage, if you ever have not read the whole chapter, I encourage you to, because it's what some of the workers at the Mercy House and us, you know, I went up there the other day to deliver some masks for them. And I had to wait a little bit out in the alley. They're not letting anybody from the outside in because they're just trying to keep it as sanitary as possible. But Carrie, one of the young ladies that works there, come out and got the mask. They have been in a Bible study for 3 hours. Because of a lot of things that's going on around there and through them helping with the situation. But the biggest part of the situation was some darkness in some guys' lives that is very dark. Very dark. So I'm just going to read a part of this passage because this is the part I like best before it gets to the rest of it. But if you want to ever know kind of about the dark side and the demons and that kind of sort of stuff that I feel like is running rapid because the light has been turned off for 5 or 6 weeks. But the beginning of that chapter, verse 1 says, chapter 22, verse 1, the Lord is my rock, my fortress and my deliverer. My God is my rock in whom I take refuge, my shield and the bourne of my salvation. He is my stronghold, my refuge and my Savior. From violent men you save me. I call to the Lord who is worthy of praise, and I am saved from my enemies. We need to take to heart to that. They're so living on that one. The other one is 1 John 4:4 tells us. And I had shared this yesterday because I got one of those phone calls. And I first said, oh, this is out of my league. Because I know she's going to be watching this, but I was called by a young lady who I think I hauled her on the school bus one time for a little while. But she's got some dark things happening inside her little apartment. She lays there in bed. There's something else in there that shouldn't be there. I just encouraged her that you've got to believe, if you're a believer of Jesus Christ, that greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. Whatever that is that is waking you up in the middle of the night, scaring you, it is so bad. I'm going to tell you part of this. It is so bad. I did see this. You know, I wanted some evidence of this darkness, which I did sense that there's not a lot of light in that apartment. But she has a picture of her daddy in a picture frame that his eyes are black, have been blackened. And I'm not, this is scary to me. There's even a tear you can see going down the cheek that is black. It was not that way before she moved in there. I've seen these things in the movies. I've heard other ministers tell them, but all I found myself was just to encourage her, if you believe in Jesus Christ and you know He lives in your heart, you can overcome whatever this darkness is in your room. She's got a little girl that's 2 years old that in the middle of the night is so real that reaches out to whoever, whatever this is. But I'm going to save from telling her name, but it is a part that should be encouraging to her. But I just ask for each one of us, again, my concern are the days to come for Dover Christian Church. And my question is for Jimmy, and should be for each one of us, is what can we do? I feel so adamant about, as this world opens back up, we as a church need to open our hearts even wider and be ready to take on whatever is out there for us to take care of in the days to come. The church has got to stand up and do all we can do to continue to show that Christ is very much alive and can take care of anything that's out there that's causing so much of this darkness in those that have not. It's a lot of it is not the people that were in the church to start with. But I think there's a lot that have been tempted. The loneliness has talked to people. You know, I was encouraged this week to get a call from Jack yesterday and a call from Kay, I think, the day before. I loved hearing the excitement in Kay's voice when I said, Kay asked, "Are we having church Sunday?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, we are." "Oh, good." Jack was kind of the same way. He was ready. Each one of us knows some of these people that have been in the homes by themselves, and I know there's some watching us today. And truly, in the days to come, I was encouraged the other night at the elders and deacons meeting when we were there. Tom wasn't able to be here today, but he brought up, or wanted to erect another spotlight stand at the Passion Play. And I don't know, there was 4 or 5 of us. There was a kind of a new sense of excitement that I felt about, I want to go. I hope we all pray for that excitement and pray that our eyes and our hearts are open. As the world reopens, maybe the renewal in our hearts and the love for one another needs to reopen. And especially for what God calls us to do as the congregation, the church of Dover Christian Church. That's my message today. I want us to heed the call of what God wants to do and how He wants to be the light in each one of us. So we're going to, the invitation hymn, if you want to come forward, I'll be more than happy to pray with you, or somebody could. We're going to stand and sing Love This Song. Here I Am, Lord, 589. Let's stand and sing this together. And then I'll tell you how we're going to close it. I, the Lord of sea and sky, I have heard my people cry, all who dwell in deepest sin, my hand will save. I who made the stars of night, I will make their darkness bright. Has it been good to be in the house of the
Amen.
Lord today?
Yeah.
What a blessing it is to, and I'm like John, to see each one of you. Look forward to seeing the empty spots filled up with those that are watching. I can't remember if Will got this Thursday. Just a reminder, Thursday is the World Day of Prayer. First Thursday in May. And Billy across the street at the Baptist Church called and invited us. Anybody that'd like to come to the flagpole at the post office right across the street at 7 o'clock Thursday evening. He'd like for some of us to help lead out in prayer and take a time of all times. What a time that we can meet around the flagpole and pray for our nation. So remember that as that comes about. Again, we've listened to some of our applicants. Just want to reassure, I've had some call and ask me, we're not, everybody that we have watched, there is kind of an unfairness there when you're, as the elders would attest, it's not fun to stand in front of a camera and just give a message or announcements or whatever it may be. But each one of those people will be here in person. So our first one will happen next Sunday. We invite you to come back, and as we all, again, what a concern that each one of us have for our church and for this congregation as we search for who God has in store to lead this church in the days to come. Who would have ever thought, I think it was 1892, right? You know what that was? Probably the first worship service happened in this part of this building over here in 1892. I bet in all those years, there's never been a time for 6 weeks that a worship did not happen. But again, in the days to come, I challenge you to join me and that we join each other, that we truly look and pay attention to what's going on around us. So as we close today, I'm going to ask, and this is not, I love when we normally close and we just hug and shake hands with everybody, that as we sing this old hymn today, that if you would like to go ahead and make your exit, it just makes it a little easier, maybe not to be tempted. I'm sorry, like I said, I got a daughter that's a nurse. I'll hug all of you if you give me the chance. We probably just need to try to follow those guidelines. So the doors will be open, and as we leave, we're singing the old hymn, Send the Light. May each one of us, again, continue to search and look for the way that we can be a part of that light that needs to be sent to this country. Let's sing together. Again, you're free. Whoops, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I forgot to pray. We got to close the prayer. Let's pray together. And then we'll send the light. Father in heaven, again, we thank you for everybody that's here today. We pray for everybody that's watching or going to watch this in the days to come. Lord, we pray again, truly, as a congregation, that you would help each one of us as slowly this world comes back around and opens to the way that it used to be. That we as a church, we as your congregation and your people will look for a way that we open our hearts and our minds and our eyes to the needs of those around us. Help Dover Christian Church be all that we can be, each one of us individually. So again, take that challenge and help it stick in our minds in the days to come. And as we sing now, again, we just ask for your blessings. May we be a part of sending the light to this country and this world that we live in. In your Son's name we pray. Amen. There's